If you are an autistic adult, I do not need to tell you that the holidays can be very stressful. The holiday stress often leads to heightened anxiety and difficulty managing the festive period. In this video, I'm going to break down what makes the holidays a difficult time for us and some strategies, actually 6 of them, to manage and survive the holidays. So let's get started. Hey, Define Yourselfers, I am Chris Mitchell from theconfidentautistic.com. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I truly appreciate you taking the time to check out this video, and I hope you'll return to the channel in the future. I'm an autistic adult, late diagnosed, a multi-certified life coach, a digital creator, and an advocate for autistic adults, empowering other autistic adults and the entire world to embrace autism confidently. If this resonates with you, please consider supporting our channel. You can show your support by liking, sharing, and commenting on this video. But the best way to show your support is by subscribing to this channel. When you do not forget to ring the bell to be notified of new videos and when I go live. Let's start with the 5 contributing factors that can cause the holidays to be stressful for us autistics. The first is sensory overload. For many of us on the spectrum, sensory overload may be a daily challenge. However, it is ramped up by the bright lights, loud music, bustling crowds, and strong smells associated with the holiday season, which can overwhelm our senses and push us into sensory overload faster and or more easily than normal. Another trigger, for want of a better word, that makes the holiday stressful for us on the spectrum is a disruption to our routines. With every holiday, regardless of if it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, or Valentine's Day, or any other, our daily schedule is changed. For some holidays, our schedule may be changed only a little bit, like by getting up at a different time during the day or eating a different meal than normal. Like on Thanksgiving, we don't always eat turkey every day of the year. You're going to have turkey. Or eating out instead of eating at home, i.e. on Valentine's Day, or in my life, not just Valentine's Day, on the anniversary of my marriage to my wife or our first date, instead of eating at home, we often eat out. That's a different or change to our routine. Or there could be a complete change from everything we normally do as autistic adults to a new and unfamiliar routine. Since we autistic heavily rely on, if not thrive on, our routines and predictability, any change can cause us significant stress. The third factor that causes us stress and anxiety during the holidays is social pressure. This is the big one. Not only may we experience this during the holidays, we can experience this throughout the year. With most holidays, there is an increased pressure on our social interaction skills and our desires. When people want us to socially interact more, we'll give more pressure to do that, and our desire is to withdraw more, or we don't normally like doing that. I'm not really big on social interactions with people. Now, these pressures can range from having to spend more time with one person or being forced to interact with groups or of others. This could also look like being expected to attend large gatherings with unfamiliar people in an unfamiliar environment for an undetermined amount of time. And what makes this worse is we're going through all this stress, right? Then an added ingredient that makes this even more stressful is having to navigate social cues and expectations. Anxiety and stress. Now, we talked about holidays being stressful, but let's go a little bit deeper into the anxiety and stress holidays can cause for us. From all the sensory overload, disruptions to our routines, and the elimination of predictability in our lives, not to mention the additional social pressure we experience during any holiday, it is no surprise that these factors can trigger or contribute to higher levels of anxiety and or stress in our lives during the holiday season. It's no surprise. I mean, we deal with anxiety, all many of us do on the spectrum all the time. It's very common for people on the spectrum to have anxiety, and then you adding more pressure and more social interaction, maybe we're not comfortable with that, more sensory overload, or um, environments that could have sensory overload for you. That's going to cause you more anxiety. So this is like a no-brainer that anxiety and stress is a very large factor, and it can be a bigger problem during the holidays than the rest of the year. Unfamiliar foods. During most holidays, when we encounter either new dishes or dishes of food we know we're prepared differently than what we expect or are used to. Our diet sensitivities and preferences can be challenged, especially if we have issues with this. Add on Add on top of that the social expectation to eat what is served and fake liking it, even if you don't like it. That will contribute to the holidays being an unpleasant time for us on the spectrum. Now that we have indicated or identified some of our holiday triggers, you may be wishing the holidays were over, or you may want to crawl into a hole and pull the hole in with you. That's something my wife always says all the time when she's get really annoyed at stuff I'm doing. And you want to pull that hole in with you until the holiday season has passed. Neither of these ideas, wishing it was over or hiding from them, is a realistic plan. The holidays are going to come, they're going to be here, you're going to be in them, you got to deal with them. So instead of letting it get to us and us dreading it, let's discuss 6 strategies we can use to make the holidays a bit more enjoyable by managing our stress, which can help with our anxiety. The first is to plan ahead before the holiday begins, and I'm not talking about the night before or the morning of. You may want to do this at least a week before the holiday arrives. You should discuss the upcoming holiday plans with family, friends, and anyone else involved in the festivities, especially in the organization and planning of the activities. During these conversations, you should be able to receive from them what their clear expectations um, are of the holidays. And you should also clearly set your boundaries. So if somebody says, you know what, we're going to be doing A, B, C, D, and that bam, 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 bam in a row. You may say, okay, in this event that you're mentioning, there's going to be a lot of loud music. I can't deal with that loud music, so I may withdraw. I may go somewhere. I can't handle all that noise. Whatever. Just be upfront. And if they accept it, great. And if not, that's not a reflection on you. If you share with somebody what one of your challenges is, what one of your boundaries are, and they do not respect it, that's on them. That's not your fault. That's their problem. We often think it's our problem. We think we have the deficit. We're defective because we're on the spectrum. And most people are autistics and not on the spectrum. No, it's not our fault. We did not ask to be in the spectrum. This happened to us. We are sharing what our boundaries are, and and we should do it in a polite way whenever possible. If they cannot accept that, that's their problem. Because everyone has boundaries, even allistics. They're maybe a little bit different than ours, but everyone has boundaries, or at least everyone should. There's a few people who do not have boundaries, and they're probably residing and behind bars because they don't have any boundaries of what's right and wrong. But basically, most everyone has boundaries, and if someone does not respect your boundaries, that's not a you problem. That's them problem. And these are the people we don't need in our lives. Now, I know with holidays, sometimes with family, even though the person does not respect your boundaries and you don't want to be around them, the family, you're expected to be around them. You may have to suck it up a little bit, but just remember you'll get through the holidays and things will get better, and you don't have to be friends with someone. There's a saying I love: God gave us family. Thank God we can choose our friends. And I truly believe that, because just because I'm related to you, I say this a lot. And it could explain why I don't have a lot of connections with my family. Just because I'm related to you does not mean I have to like you. And that could explain why I spend a lot of holidays without family around me. Now, another strategy we could use during the holidays to help reduce our stress is to maintain routines. I know this may be hard, but do your best to maintain your routines to the best of your ability. When necessary, to say you cannot maintain your routine as much as you would like to, especially if you're away from home, you can create some new routines just for the holidays. Sometimes just sitting there in your mind, sitting there alone and in your mind, planning out a routine can be so relaxing. It's self care. You're working through something, you're planning something out that will give you some predictability. So feel free to create your own little routines just for the holidays. You can go back to your normal routines for the holidays over, but create some for the holidays. By creating new routines for the holidays, you can provide yourself a little of the predictability many of us on the spectrum crave and really need. I know I need that predictability. I don't know about you, but I know I do. Another great thing you can do during the holidays that will help you is take sensory breaks. Be sure to incorporate into your holiday schedule and or activities for some sensory breaks for yourself. Sensory breaks, you can think of that as downtime or me time for yourself. We can get away from everything and just have a little time, could be 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe 30, maybe an hour, whatever you need to get away from the sensory overload, to self-regulate and be able to come back strong so you can participate in the holidays. You may, well, more likely, you will need downtime during the holidays to recharge during the events that are going on. The downtime, which is also known as sensory breaks, can also help you self regulate, which I mentioned a moment ago, which in turn can help minimize, if not eliminate, any potential shutdowns, meltdowns, and accidentally saying something inappropriate. I know that when I'm going through sensory overload and I've had enough, if I don't take a break, I'm more than likely to say something inappropriate that causes hurt feelings and could damage relationships. These sensory breaks are necessary. And if you're away from home, when you arrive to wherever your destination is, whether it be a hotel, a conference room, a banquet, somebody else's house, whatever, try to find a space you can quickly escape to or retreat to if you need a quick getaway for a few minutes when sensory overload starts to occur. If somebody's house, you may not want to go into a room. It's their home, you don't want to invade that, but you may step outside in the front porch or the back patio just for a few minutes, just to kind of calm yourself down. You want to plan for these, because when that sensory overload starts to happen, you may not be in a place where you can start looking around and say, where can I go? You need to already have that plan developed in your mind. Another important thing you can do to help you minimize the stress during the holidays is to communicate your needs with others. It is important for you to communicate your needs before the holidays begin, because during the holidays, things will be more hectic. And if you are going into sensory overload, shutdown, or a meltdown, you will not be able to advocate for yourself and your needs, or even communicate with others. This is very important. You want to be proactive on this. This does not mean that you must reveal that you are autistic. Some of us on the spectrum don't want to reveal that. We're not comfortable. The people we're around, we're not sure how they will react to it. We're not sure if it's going to upset people in the family, all that type of stuff, or office party if that's going to hurt you in your career and your relationship with your coworkers, your subordinates, and your superiors. So, you know, communicating your needs does not mean that you have to reveal you're autistic. Although I feel it is a good thing to share your autism with others, as it may provide you with a feeling of self-empowerment. You do not need to reveal it. You do need to politely explain your needs in advance to others. When sharing your needs in advance, you may want to consider who you speak with. And some recommendations include speaking to the host or organizer of the party. If you are and your significant other are the organizers of the event, like myself and my wife, share your needs with your partner. And in some cases, they should know. My wife knows I need downtime, I need breaks. So we do plan those things into events that we're organizing. Or you share your needs with someone you feel comfortable with and who you either do or consider to be an autistic ally or an ally of those of us on the spectrum, like you and me. Another great thing you can try to do is limit your exposure to events. Whenever possible, opt for smaller gatherings or shorter visits if necessary to manage sensory input. So if you're going to go to an event, it's going to be a long event, but you know you cannot be there the full length. Arrive late or already have a plan. I need to go early. I have something else I have to go on tonight. Thank you for having me. And just set that boundary that you're going to leave at that time and stick to it. And most importantly, to make the holidays less stressful, do not forget to consider support. It is okay if you need help. There's no shame in asking for help. Always thought there was, and there isn't. If necessary, seek support from friends, family, and allies during the events of the holidays. And if needed, seek professional support from a therapist or counselor specializing in autism in adults to develop coping strategies before the holidays. And keep in touch with them during the holidays and maybe have a long-term professional relationship with them so you can navigate life better as an autistic adult. Now it's your turn. Share with me any thoughts you have on the holidays. What are some of your stresses? What are some of your triggers? What are some of your strategies you use to survive, if not thrive, during the holidays? What you share could help somebody else who's on the spectrum. So share those thoughts in the comments on this video or in the conversation in our Facebook group, Autistic Adults Embracing Autism. I'd love to hear your comments. Now, I cannot respond to every single comment that's posted, but rest assured, I do read each and every one of them, and I really enjoy hearing the comments that you all are making. And if you have a suggestion for a topic for a video, leave it in the comments as well. Who knows? It could be an upcoming video. So until next time, this is Chris Mitchell, the Confident Autistic, reminding you that now is the time for you to embrace autism confidently. Join me live Thursday nights for the Confident Autistic Live, where I answer your questions, we discuss this week's videos, offer support, and more. The fun starts Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time in the US of A. Be sure to click the bell when you subscribe to the channel to be notified when the party begins.